So speaking of Washington, one of our congressmen did not have a great TV interview this week. He tried to talk about terrorism. It did not go well. Bill, can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
It was 12 minutes and 30 seconds. It probably seemed like 12 hours to Sean Duffy. He got in a big back and forth with a CNN host, made some rather provocative statements on terrorism. He got into a discussion on white terrorism. It showed really that he's not ready for prime time if he is going to run for the U.S. Senate. He got blowback from South Carolina, where they were having a discussion of the killings at the church down there, the black church, and he immediately said, well, some good things came out of it, and of course, really terrible things came out of it.
Isn't this supposed to be a strength? TV. I mean, he's former Mr. MTV guy and all of that.
Real World, Road Rules, you know,
right? All of those things. But you know, and he's been doing. Actually, I first saw him on election morning at 6 a.m. on CNN, I believe it was, and then another station. He's been doing a lot of TV as a surrogate for the Trump administration, and he's done okay in like 2- and 3-minute blocks. And it started off okay, but then it just seems like it was too long a segment for him to handle.
And he had to bring it on, I think he said to the host.
It was a very combative. Yeah. I'm not sure why he chose the combative approach to the CNN host. Just about everything she said, he wanted to challenge it, and it ended up leading him into several rabbit holes that he didn't want to go down.
The other thing that's occurring here is, you know, everybody's lining up in Wisconsin among the Republican side for the 2018 Senate election against Tammy Baldwin.
And he's seen as a front runner.
He is seen as a front runner. He was on the Trump train very early. He looks the part. He's from northern Wisconsin. He has a credible congressional record. And if he is to enter the race, one thing he would obviously try to do is clear the field. And you know,
he didn't do that.
He did not do that.
The people who love this would be Eric Hovde, who loves this, and some of the other candidates who are looking at this.
So he has to raise his game. I think it was clearly a situation where he had to raise his game. It's kind of, Dan, you would know this as well as I do. It kind of reminded me of Ron Johnson in 2010, where you just did not know what was going to come out of the candidate's mouth.
He was actually more aggressive than Ron Johnson was back then. Ron Johnson was sort of, you know, he didn't have much to say, and he just said it again and again. And this one, he decided, Sean Duffy decided to adopt sort of a Trump persona by fighting back, and it led him to saying some weird stuff. There's the one line where he says, "I'm a lover," and other stuff like that. I'm like, what is he doing?
And he also talked about the attack of the mosque being like a one-off event, and obviously here in Wisconsin,
he said more than once, yeah.
We've had, you know, some horrible crimes committed by white nationalists in recent years. There was the Temple shooting. Trooper Trevor Casper was killed by somebody who was a white supremacist and had some really.
And this obviously was the top of the front page in South Carolina because of what he said there, that a lot of good things had come out of the shooting.
Nikki Haley took down the Confederate flag, but obviously lives are lost. And that's
right. So you don't want to talk about the good things that come out of any mass shooting.